With the explosion of addictions on the planet right now, because of a lot of factors, politics, lack of employment, we could go on and on. But there's a huge addictive problem on the planet. Drugs, alcohol, opiates, bad drugs, badder drugs, depression, all kinds of things. So when people go to get therapy, a psychic healer is probably the last person they think about getting help from. So I just want to let you know that if you ever have a family member in crisis, I would never turn anyone away for help. And also, it's a good thing to think of, like if you're going to a doctor and they've been unable to diagnose you. We have great success at being able to really body scan a being when you're clairvoyant. Illness shows up like dark spots in the body. It's almost like thermography in the vision. So, and we can run our hands over the body, which is also like a thermal scan because of the chakras, and my hands are feel. So if I'm running my hand over your body and I come to a hot spot and it's repetitive, I'll say, wow, is that your ovaries? Is that hormonal? Or if it's your heart or your leg, it's often very, very accurate is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so things that a doctor can't pick up on. Even we've been known like 4 or 5 years ahead of time to be able to detect cancer. And then people would call me up years later and say, you know, Susan, you were right. I should have listened to you. And many of those that did. I remember I tried to be a nurse at one time, but couldn't do math, so I ended up doing psychic healing instead of that type of healing. I looked at one of the nurses one day, and she was challenging me, and I said, wow, I see 3 spots, like 1, 2, 3 on your breast. And she thought I was crazy and full of it, but she actually did go to the doctor, and she did have 3 cancers on her left breast. And her life was saved. And I didn't find out till 10 years later when at that same hospital where I was working, she confided in a nurse friend of mine. Whatever happened to that lady who told me that I had 3 lumps on my breast? She saved my life, by the way. So here's just, you know, a validation, a testimony of some of the things that, you know, psychics can help with. Recently, I had one of my 90-something-year-old friends was in emergency, and the doctor said, you're dying. And she called me from the ER and said, Susan, they said I'm dying. What's wrong with me? And I'm like, really? And I said, okay, this isn't funny. I got to look. So I literally stepped back and looked. Well, a few months before, she had had a surgery on her stomach, and that surgery site was infected. So I told her, tell your doctor to check that surgery site. And sure enough, it was the surgery site. She called me 4 hours later and said, they found it, and you were right. It was the surgery site. And she had also asked me, like, what do I need? And I said, it's an antibiotic with a really long name. And she texted me back a really long name of an antibiotic. So just another testimony of things can help. Or if you have a loved one, even too, there is the ability to see what's wrong with them. Have a great success rate with people of cancer, helping people cure themselves of cancer. If you think about the word disease itself, it's something dis-ease, something you're not comfortable with that becomes a manifestation, a physical manifestation into your body. And so being a seer helps you to see ahead of time, which could become a huge problem.